What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, as we expect the final piece of the puzzle for Marvel Phase 4 to drop in 2024, one of the films we expect to be among the releases that year is Deadpool 3, that actually offered an official update just weeks ago via their social media, proudly announcing that they had nailed down brand integrations, that storyboard, character design, and script were to come next, again keeping them perfectly on pace for a 2024 release date if they go to filming in 2023. Well, the two writers on that script actually opened up yesterday about their brand new situation, now finding Deadpool and the same character but under the umbrella of Disney and Marvel Studios, how it changes the dynamic quite a bit, and offered a ton of context. We're going to go through the interview in its entirety and all their quotes about Deadpool 3, especially focusing on what they said about keeping the character, the same Deadpool that we're used to from the first two films without much interference from Disney. We're breaking it all down, Deadpool 3, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews, to the occasional industry insider interview like we're talking about today, and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around at the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this article was published yesterday with Den of Geek under the headline, Deadpool 3 writers thrilled to mine MCU for new jokes. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who were the original team and co-wrote the first two Deadpool movies, the writers of Deadpool 3, say that joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a marriage made in heaven. During the interview, this is what the duo had to say about Deadpool's new circumstance and any interference changing the character we've come to know and love. Quote, "It's a thrill. It's an absolute thrill to have the band back together, to have a new backdrop in the MCU with new characters, new villains, that kind of thing. You know, it's never a marriage we necessarily saw coming. Fox and Disney. That was an external thing separate from our storytelling process, but we're absolutely finding the serendipity and the gold in that situation, or we're at least trying to." The next paragraph goes on to explain that, quote, "Both Reese and Wernick excitedly exclaimed, 'Oh yeah,' when asked if they are finding things to make fun of in the MCU as much as they gently ribbed X-Men's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Reynolds' disastrous stint in the DC world as Green Lantern, or a lot of the other pop culture icons in the first two Deadpool movies." Wernick also states confidently, quote, "Deadpool is going to be Deadpool," when asked about writing for the frequently raunchy, off-color character within the family-friendly confines of the Mouse House. Remember, Deadpool until now has been rated R, and hopefully will stay that way, even though it's in an MCU where the rest of the films are PG-13. This is what Reese had to say, quote, "Don't worry about that. They've been very supportive with regard to that. Now, when it comes to a particular joke, if we cross a line, maybe we'll hear at some point, quote, maybe not that joke. But I think they've been incredibly supportive of what we're doing, because obviously we've been doing it separate from them for a long time, and I think they've seen the success and they've had their own even greater success, so hopefully it'll be a marriage made in heaven. But we've definitely got their support, and that's a great thing to feel." Now, they wrapped up the article with a rather interesting point, something I had forgotten, but all the way back in 2020, there was already a script for Deadpool 3 commissioned. This was well after the merger and acquisition had taken place of Fox, and they had turned it into 20th Century Studios under Disney. But at the time, the sister pair that write for Bob's Burgers, Wendy and Lizzie Molyneux, already wrote a script for Deadpool 3. So they went ahead and asked this new writer duo, the ones from the original films, if they were going to start from scratch or, quote, are using any of the elements from that earlier draft commissioned in 2020. They said, quote, "We have an answer, but we're really not supposed to divulge any plot details," which is totally okay because there's already some major reveals in this article. First of all, I think we can safely say that Disney seems to acknowledge what this team did with the character over at Fox, a place that generally never had any success with their superhero franchise, turned this into a multi-billion-dollar franchise. It seems like they're giving some reverence to the original team that worked on this and said, go ahead and do your thing, which I think quietly but quite transparently says that this is going to be a rated R film in the MCU, opening the door now to rated R labels as it pertains to certain characters. This is certainly one that you want to keep rated R, and like they said, if they're not reining them in in this interview, if it's maybe a particular joke here or there, then they're going to keep with the same writing style, the same content they did before. If you remember anything from those first two films, it would be impossible for this Deadpool 3 not to be rated R. That's the first thing. The second thing is that all of these characters he's talking about, the serendipity in the situation as he referred to it, is actually extremely difficult for them to write around or make any sense of with any sincerity at all. Good thing Deadpool's not a sincere character. By the time Deadpool 2 had come out, everyone knew that this acquisition was coming, and by that point the MCU was just ending the Infinity Saga. Whatever was going on with the completely defunct timeline, there were only a couple of saviors from Fox by the end there. That was Logan and the two Deadpool films. Now they've got to try to figure out how this character fits into the MCU, and while allowed to be that crazy zany character, insincere, making fun and undercutting everything, even breaking the fourth wall, still has to operate within the confines of a ton of characters that have not had anything to do with this character's story. And not to equate Deadpool's silver screen success or popularity with the Netflix shows, but Marvel Studios already laid out a blueprint for how they wanted some of those characters to come over from the Netflix universe. Basically, the characters show up, it's a loose interpretation going forward of the same character played by the same actor, but they don't acknowledge the backstory too much. It seems as though that's the option they would have gone with in a soft reboot from that originally commissioned script. If they're keeping this original writing team together, now it's more than just keeping Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, it's keeping Ryan Reynolds Deadpool and the creative team behind him. It seems like there's going to be some more ties here, sort of a deviation from the path that they've laid down. Have to explain how he shows up in the MCU and why, unless it's something as silly as he walks off one set, walks across a parking lot, and then walks on to the next set, and that's that. Any more of an explainer is going to be quite a trick for them, and I wonder how they're going to do this. More excited though that they're going to keep it rated R. I think Deadpool deserves to be, alongside some other characters like Wolverine and Punisher, and I hope that is a sign of things to come in the MCU. I say it all the time, but the main demographic, the majority of the people who watch Marvel movies are well of age to watch rated R films at this point, and with almost 30 films that are all rated PG-13, I think there's room for one or two. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Okay, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s all the way up to $1 million. The next milestone is 980. If you want to be entered to win for any of the future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name AllFires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking that channel out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around, we'll be posting again real soon.